Florian Wirtz was always hailed as a top German talent in football. Even when he first started playing for Bayer Leverkusen, it was clearly evident that Wirtz had what it takes to become great in this sport. However, something tragic happened in 2022, and this incident halted Wirtz's career for almost a year, and nobody knew whether he could return to his good form that he once showed. However, ever since Wirtz's comeback, he's been one of the best players in the world at just 21 years old, and he's now valued at over 100 million euros. So how did Florian Wirtz bounce back and get his career on course again? Well, let's take a look at the rise, fall, and rise again of Florian Wirtz. Now, Wirtz was born on May 3rd, 2003 in a city called Pulheim in Germany. Ever since he was young, Florian Wirtz loved football and initially started his youth career with Grünwald Brauweiler, a club that his father was the chairman of. And no cap, I probably butchered that club's name. But come on, man, that one's a tough one. Anyways, a lot of people believe that Florian Wirtz was an academy product of Bayer Leverkusen, but that's just not true. And instead, when Wirtz turned 7 years old, him and his family made the decision to join FC Köln's academy in 2010, where he would remain for around 10 years of his life. Yeah, surprising, I know. I was shocked when I learned about this too, not gonna lie. Anyways, with Köln, Florian Wirtz would start to get his name more out there in the football world. In fact, the local people in Köln, including the newspapers, would describe Florian Wirtz as one of the best midfielders to come through the club in 30 years. That's a lot of praise for someone who was still playing academy football at the time. Now, after impressing at every age level for Köln, Florian Wirtz would make his debut for the Köln under-17s when he was just 15 years old, and in his first season for the youth side, he scored 4 goals in 14 matches, showing that he could hang with the older kids. Then in the following season, Wirtz was still eligible to play for the Köln under-17s, so he did. And this is where he truly exploded onto the academy scene and set himself apart from his peers. In just 10 games in 2019, Wirtz would score 8 goals, including goals against Bayern Munich, a halfway line goal in a 10-0 win over Wuppertal, and a goal in a 3-2 win over Dortmund in the final to win his side the under-17 Bundesliga. With performances like these, it's only natural that some top European clubs are going to start taking notice of Wirtz. But the amount of high-level clubs looking at this 16-year-old midfielder was just insane. First of all, arguably the 3 best teams in Germany, RB Leipzig, Borussia Dortmund, and Bayern Munich, were all interested in signing him, and even Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool was taking an interest in the young German. However, in the end, Florian Wirtz thought that taking the step to those clubs would be too much, and it would be best to find a different club that would help get the best out of him more. So instead, the attacking midfielder signed for Bayer Leverkusen in January 2020, despite it being a controversial move due to Wirtz apparently breaking a gentleman's agreement between the two clubs. Despite this, Wirtz was initially playing for the Bayer Leverkusen under-19 side, where he would immediately impress, scoring 2 goals and getting 3 assists in just 4 games. These 4 games were enough to impress the Bayer Leverkusen hierarchy, so much so that he was given his senior team Bundesliga debut on May 18th, 2020 against Werder Bremen, overtaking Kai Havertz as Leverkusen's youngest player in the league, receiving his debut at just 17 years and 15 days old. Wirtz would continue to stay with the Leverkusen senior team from then on, and on June 6th, Wirtz would score his first goal for Leverkusen in the 89th minute of their 4-2 home loss against Bayern Munich. And although Wirtz's side lost, he still broke another record, becoming the youngest goal scorer in Bundesliga history at just 17 years and 34 days old. Now, it is true that this record was broken again around a year later by Youssoufa Moukoko, who scored at just 16 years old, but Moukoko does have some faking age allegations that just aren't going away. So who actually knows whether he broke Wirtz's record or not? Moving on to the next 2021 campaign, Wirtz would start to become one of Leverkusen's best players on the team, and he had to step up this season too. And this is due to the departure of Kai Havertz in the summer, where he moved to Chelsea. So with one star boy leaving, another star boy had to step up, and Wirtz did just that. But before we go on to Wirtz's season, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it, and it means a lot, so thank you. And also, if you guys can, follow my Twitter and my Instagram, both at Nabuto, if you just want to hear my thoughts on football games, transfers, and overall, just to get to know me more. So if you want to, feel free to hit me up with that follow. Thank you. Back to topic. During this 2021 campaign, Wirtz would end up scoring his first goal in a European competition when he scored against Nice in the Europa League. He would then go on to score a late game winner against Borussia Dortmund as Leverkusen went on to win 2-1, and even scored his 5th Bundesliga career goal in a 5-2 win against Stuttgart, becoming the first player in Bundesliga history to achieve this before turning 18 years old. With performances like this, Wirtz was awarded with a brand new contract on May 3rd, 2021, his 18th birthday in fact, and this contract would expire in 2026. Overall, for the 2021 campaign, Wirtz would get a total of 8 goals and 8 assists in 38 games across all competitions, and with Wirtz's phenomenal performances, as we can see, he was called up to the Under-21 Euro 2021 Championship for Germany, where he would play a huge role in Germany winning the entire tournament, with Florian Wirtz scoring 2 goals against the Netherlands in the semi-final for Germany to win 2-1. In fact, one of these goals was the fastest goal in the tournament's history, with Wirtz scoring in just 29 seconds. Now obviously, when you're balling out for the youth team of your country, the senior team is definitely going to take notice, and that's exactly what happened. with Hansi Flick, the Germany manager at the time, calling Wirtz up for the future World Cup 2022 qualification games. Moving on to the 21-22 season for Wirtz at club level though, he was dropping his best performances in the Bundesliga up to this point. In fact, he was showing fans all over Germany and the world how good he truly was, and that he wasn't just some one-season wonder. In fact, during the season, Wirtz's goal against huge club RB Leipzig would help him become the first player under 19 years old to score more than 10 Bundesliga goals. And then at the age of 18 years and 223 days old, Wirtz would become the youngest player to reach 50 Bundesliga appearances. Overall in this campaign, he would score a goal against Borussia Dortmund in both the games he played against them, and he also did the same thing against Stuttgart again, and overall for the campaign, he would get a total of 10 goals and 14 assists in 31 games, his most goal contributions that he's ever gotten a season before. But sadly, in this 21-22 season came the darkest moment in Florian Wirtz's professional career so far, and hopefully ever, because I don't ever want to see him go through something like this again. Come on, you know me, I'm a good guy.
I'm a great guy. I'm actually a great guy.
Now in March, when Bayer Leverkusen faced FC Köln away, which was Florian Wirtz's old club if you don't recall, something tragic happened. Wirtz was playing pretty well throughout the game, but eventually, while he was challenging for the ball, the tackle went wrong for Wirtz, and he ended up injuring himself. That's not it though, because this injury was serious, with Florian Wirtz tearing his anterior cruciate ligament, more commonly referred to as his ACL. This is probably one of the most serious injuries any professional athlete could get, and Florian Wirtz sadly got this injury when he was younger than 20 years old. This also meant that nobody knew how catastrophic this could be for him and his career, and whether he could ever return back to his normal form. What's worse though is Florian Wirtz was starting to become a solid player for the German national team. However, despite Hansi Flick publicly coming out and saying that he wished he could have selected Wirtz to the World Cup squad, he couldn't due to how long Wirtz was going to be out for, which meant that the young German attacking midfielder had to miss the tournament every kid always dreamed of playing in, the World Cup. No cap though, Germany could have definitely used him, because they definitely needed some more attacking talent to get out of their group despite being favorites to do so. Anyways, the recovery process for Wirtz was a long one, and when Bayer Leverkusen needed him most, he couldn't be there.
But when the world needed him most, he vanished.
That's because during the start of the 22-23 season, Bayer Leverkusen were actually in a relegation battle, and times were so dark for Leverkusen that they even had to fire their manager, Gerardo Soane, and needed someone new to come in to bring some fresh ideas to the table. Luckily for Leverkusen's hierarchy, they made the smart decision and gave Xabi Alonso a chance, even though he never coached a professional senior team side in his life. And luckily for Xabi Alonso, the Leverkusen star boy Wirtz would return to action in January 2023, returning to the pitch after 10 months out in the game against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Throughout the remainder of the campaign, Wirtz would only score one goal in the Bundesliga, which was in a 3-0 win away against Schalke. But in Leverkusen's Europa League campaign, Wirtz was going off, scoring in both legs of the knockout games against Monaco, and scoring a crucial goal in the quarterfinals against Union SG. Sadly, Mourinho's Roma knocked Leverkusen out in the semis, but thanks to Xabi Alonso and obviously Wirtz coming back, Leverkusen escaped the relegation fight and finished 6th place in the Bundesliga table, qualifying for the Europa League for the following season. And in this next season is when Wirtz truly showed that the ACL injury didn't change him, and if it did, it changed him for the better. That's because in the 2023-24 campaign, Florian Wirtz would double, if not triple, his previous goal contribution stats, and he got himself 18 goals and 20 assists in 49 games. Plus, in this campaign, he would score against the likes of RB Leipzig in a 3-2 win, get a goal and an assist in a 2-1 win over Freiburg, get a goal in a 3-2 win over Hoffenheim, get an important equalizer against Stuttgart in a 1-1 draw, score against Wolfsburg in a 2-0 win, get a goal and a hat-trick of assists against Karabakh, scored a crucial goal against Union Berlin to secure a 1-0 win away from home, and assisted a last-minute goal against Borussia Dortmund in a 1-1 draw away from home. And he also did the same thing against Stuttgart in a 2-2 draw as well. Now, if you haven't noticed already, I've been mentioning wins and draws just now, but not losses. Why? Well, that's because Leverkusen simply just didn't lose. That's right, in Florian Wirtz's first full season back after that ACL injury, not only did he get close to 40 goal contributions, but he played a significant part in that attacking midfielder role to help Bayer Leverkusen win the Bundesliga for the first time in their history undefeated. That's not it though, because they went undefeated in the DFB Pokal Cup too, beating FC Kaiserslautern in the final to secure an undefeated domestic double. It could have been an undefeated treble too, but sadly, despite Leverkusen making it to the final of the Europa League, they got absolutely bossed by Atalanta and lost to them due to a Lookman hat-trick. But still, don't forget the fact that Leverkusen won a domestic double undefeated. Not even Bayern could do that in like their 11 Bundesliga titles in a row. Now, speaking about Florian Wirtz in the 23-24 season more specifically, he excelled on the advanced stat sheet. In fact, in his advanced midfield role, which suited Xabi Alonso's 3-4-3 system perfectly, by the way. He was in the 98th percentile of assists, getting 0.44 per 90, meaning he basically had an assist in every 2 games, was in the 98th percentile for shot creating actions, the 99th percentile for passes attempted, completing 82.5% of them, the 99th percentile of progressive passes, having almost 9 in every single game, which is just absurd, 85th percentile for successful take-ons, which meant that he was pretty good in one-on-one situations with a defender, the 89th percentile for progressive carries, and the 78th percentile for blocks, which for an attacking midfielder is outrageously good. And if y'all didn't understand a single word of what I just said, just know that Florian Wirtz was an absolute beast in almost everything he did in this 23-24 season. In fact, the weakest points of Florian Wirtz this season were his tackles, aerial duels, and stuff like that. And for an attacking midfielder, I would say that these sort of things aren't Wirtz's priority. Plus, I'm glad that the new Germany manager, Julian Nagelsmann, has taken a liking to Florian Wirtz and reintegrated him back into the national team despite his nasty ACL injury. In fact, Wirtz ended up scoring his first goal for his country under him, and it was just in 7 seconds against European giants, France, and this goal became the second fastest goal in international football history. And with Wirtz being on that Germany Euro 2024 squad, the tournament that they're hosting, who knows? Maybe Wirtz could secure himself an international trophy at just the young age of 21 years old. Anyways, that's all of Florian Wirtz's career for now, and if you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And please be sure to follow my Twitter and my Instagram. The links are on my YouTube description. And last but not least, if you want to learn more about the disappearance of Portugal's Euro 2016 hero, and there, you should definitely check out this video right here. You won't regret it.